summary, and key takeaways of The Way Forward by Robert O'Neill and Dakota Meyer. The Way Forward is a dual memoir and call to action authored by two of the United States' most renowned combat veterans. Robert O'Neill, the Navy SEAL who fired the fatal shot that killed Osama bin Laden, and Dakota Meyer, the Marine Corps Medal of Honor recipient who braved enemy fire to rescue his team during the Battle of Ganjgal. While the book recounts moments of combat heroism, its true focus lies in what comes before, during, and after the battles. How warriors prepare for adversity, confront personal demons, and strive for meaningful lives once the gunfire stops. The book opens with a powerful metaphor, the Claymore mine. On its casing is the instruction, front toward enemy. That simple directive becomes a philosophy. In combat, orientation matters. In life, so does the way we face our fears, challenges, and obligations. This metaphor shapes the entire narrative. Whether it's physical danger, trauma, self-doubt, or identity crises after leaving service, the authors return again and again to the value of facing hardships head-on. Robert and Dakota alternate chapters, sharing stories from their childhoods, military service, and tumultuous post-military lives. Rob, the SEAL who operated in absolute secrecy, and Dakota, a Marine who carried the weight of survivor's guilt after the loss of his team, lay bare their vulnerabilities. They describe growing up in modest American towns, where heroes were athletes or war veterans. Rob obsessed over Michael Jordan and learned discipline by practicing free throws on the pavement. Dakota admired local mentors who taught him to push through pain and setback on the football field. In recounting their paths to elite service, both men emphasize the importance of the basics. Mastery in life, whether in shooting, sports, or public speaking, comes from relentless repetition. Rob attributes his sniper skills not to raw talent, but to the same discipline it takes to perfect a basketball free throw. That insight becomes one of the book's core teachings. There are no shortcuts to greatness. You succeed not through dramatic gestures, but through consistent, often boring effort. Their military chapters provide glimpses into the reality of war, not its glamour. Rob walks us through a helicopter jump over his hometown before a mission, recalling his childhood landmarks as he prepares to kill enemies in the dead of night. Dakota describes losing teammates to IEDs and then forcing himself to stay in the fight, not because he wasn't traumatized, but because he didn't believe he was allowed to be. His survivor's guilt eventually morphs into reckless behavior, and it takes an Army psychologist named Captain Katie Kopp to help him understand that he wasn't broken. He was human. But perhaps the most gripping parts of the book come after the uniforms come off. Both authors wrestle with a loss of identity. Rob, after killing the most wanted man in the world, finds himself anonymously giving speeches, fighting to support his family with no pension or job prospects. Even as he becomes a sought-after speaker, he is ostracized by the SEAL community for speaking publicly, violating the so-called quiet professional code. The cost of telling his story, of helping others heal through his experience, is exile from the brotherhood he gave his life to. Dakota, meanwhile, spirals into depression and destructive behavior. The Medal of Honor, which he ultimately gives to his daughter to wear as a necklace, becomes a symbol of pain rather than pride. He resents being celebrated for surviving when his teammates did not. He avoids therapy until he realizes he has nothing left to lose. His eventual healing begins with small acts of kindness, helping a stranger in pain, reaching out to a fellow vet, and learning that seeking help is not weakness but courage. Throughout the book, humor and humility keep the tone grounded. Despite their legendary status, both men are refreshingly self-deprecating. They poke fun at their mistakes, argue with their inner demons, and acknowledge the messiness of their emotions. Whether it's taking 3 glasses of red wine before a public speech or launching themselves downhill in a shopping cart as kids, they use levity as a coping mechanism and teaching tool. Key lessons from The Way Forward. The central message is not about heroism in war, but about resilience in life. Both authors reject the myth of invincibility. They urge readers to face life with the same clarity as a Claymore mine, front toward enemy. If something scares you, confront it. If something hurts, acknowledge it. If you fall, get back up. They stress the importance of community and mentorship. Whether it's a cousin, a coach, a psychologist, or a fellow warrior, the presence of someone who believes in you can change everything. But they also emphasize individual responsibility. No one is coming to save you. You have to be your own advocate, your own rescue team, your own steady hand. Another key takeaway is the role of discipline, not as punishment, but as a path to peace. Discipline in training, in habits, in communication, and even in humor is what allowed both men to survive their lowest points. It's what helped Rob move from a SEAL to a speaker and father. It's what helped Dakota go from suicidal ideation to saving lives again, this time as a civilian. The book also argues for changing the conversation around veterans. Both authors criticize how little institutional support exists for soldiers transitioning to civilian life. Pensions disappear, healthcare vanishes, and the public's gratitude is often shallow or misdirected. They call for a culture that listens to veterans, gives them meaningful opportunities, and treats their wounds, both visible and invisible, with respect. Conclusion. The Way Forward is not a military memoir in the traditional sense. It's a life manual told through the voices of two men who have seen the worst of war and chosen to wrest meaning out of the chaos. Their stories are raw, funny, at times heartbreaking, but always infused with grit. The lessons they share about preparation, accountability, humility, and courage are universally applicable, whether you're leading a business, raising a child, or just trying to make it through another tough day. The way forward, they say, is not through retreat or denial. It's through relentless honesty, facing what hurts, and moving with purpose. And when in doubt, like a Claymore mine, always face front toward enemy. Action plan, front toward enemy framework for life. 1. Face the problem head on. At the start of each day, identify one thing you're avoiding, an uncomfortable conversation, a personal truth, a looming decision. Commit to confronting it directly before the day ends. Avoidance is weakness in disguise. Courage is the decision to face what hurts, not flee from it. 2. Establish a disciplined ritual. Wake up at the same time daily. Do 20 to 30 minutes of focused physical movement, such as walking, working out, or stretching, followed by a 5-minute cold shower or some form of deliberate discomfort to train resilience. In the evening, reflect for 10 minutes on what you faced today and what you postponed. Journal your wins and regrets. 3. Create a circle of accountability. Choose 3 people who will hold you to your higher standard: friends, colleagues, or mentors. Set weekly check-ins, even if brief, and be honest with them. Robert and Dakota found strength in tight, trusted circles. Alone, we rationalize weakness. Together, we sharpen each other. 4. Seek therapy or tactical support. If you're struggling emotionally, commit this week to finding a professional, such as a therapist, coach, chaplain, or mentor. Do not justify delay. Seeking help is a mission, not a sign of failure. Both authors credit their survival to professionals who intervened when they couldn't self-correct. 5. Serve with purpose. Help one person each week in a tangible way. Buy someone lunch, volunteer, mentor a young person, or donate time to a veteran or cause. Meyer found healing in helping others. Serving pulls you out of your own head and reconnects you to your value. 6. Train for something. Choose one hard skill every few months, such as shooting, climbing, coding, speaking, writing, or martial arts. Train toward proficiency with discipline, not motivation. Mission focus gives you structure and purpose. It replaces rumination with measurable growth. 7. Laugh every day. End each day by laughing. Watch a comedy special, call a funny friend, or read something irreverent. Share humor with others. O'Neill and Meyer both show that humor is psychological armor that makes hardship bearable. 8. Respect the quiet victories. Learn to honor the unseen efforts. Waking up early, making your bed, resisting temptation, walking away from a pointless fight. The loud moments are for Hollywood. Real growth happens in the quiet acts of personal integrity. Maintenance plan, weekly check. Every Sunday night, ask yourself the following. What hard truth did I face this week? Where did I show discipline even when I didn't feel like it? Did I help someone this week? Who did I lend to my world? And did I tell them the truth? What did I learn? What did I run from? What's the one front toward enemy challenge I need to face next?